The Taj Mahal is an ivory-white marble mausoleum on the right bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan to house the tomb of his favorite wife. The tomb is the centerpiece of a 17-hectare complex, which includes a mosque and a guest house, and is set in formal gardens bounded on three sides by a crenellated wall. The construction of the mausoleum was essentially completed in 1643, but work continued on other phases of the project for another 10 years. The Taj Mahal complex is believed to have been completed in its entirety in 1653 at a cost estimated at the time to be around 32 million, which in 2020 would be approximately 70 billion. The construction project employed some 20,000 artisans under the guidance of a board of architects led by the court architect to the Emperor Ustad Ahmad Lahori. Various types of symbolism have been employed in the Taj to reflect natural beauty and divinity. Abdul Hamid Lahori, in his book from 1636 Padchanama, refers to the Taj Mahal as Raza-i-Munawwara, meaning the illumined or illustrious tomb. The current name for the Taj Mahal is believed to be derived from the Persian Mahal. The name Taj came from the corruption of the second syllabus of Mumtaz. The Taj Mahal was commissioned by Shah Jahan in 1631 to be built in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. Construction started in 1632, and the mausoleum was completed in 1648, while the surrounding buildings and garden were finished 5 years later. The imperial court documenting Shah Jahan's grief after the death of Mumtaz Mahal illustrates the love story held as the inspiration for the Taj Mahal. Artistic depiction of Mumtaz Mahal. The Taj Mahal incorporates and expands on design traditions of Indo-Islamic and earlier Mughal architecture. Specific inspiration came from successful Timurid and Mughal buildings including the Gur-e-Amir. While earlier Mughal buildings were primarily constructed of red sandstone, Shah Jahan promoted the use of white marble inlaid with semi-precious stones. Buildings under his patronage reached new levels of refinement. The tomb is the central focus of the entire complex of the Taj Mahal. It is a large white marble structure standing on a square plinth and consists of a symmetrical building with a hewn topped by a large dome and finial. Like most Mughal tombs, the basic elements are Indo-Islamic in origin. The base structure is a large multi-chambered cube with chamfered corners forming an unequal 8-sided structure that is approximately 55 meters on each of the 4 long sides. Each side of the hewn is framed with a huge pishtuk or vaulted archway with 2 similarly shaped arched balconies stacked on either side. This motif of stacked pishtuks is replicated on the chamfered corner areas, making the design completely symmetrical on all sides of the building. 4 minarets frame the tomb. The main chamber houses the false sarcophagi of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan. The actual graves are at a lower level. Taj Mahal, Agra, India. The Taj Mahal in Agra. The mausoleum. The main gateway to the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal minaret. Taj Mahal at sunrise from main entrance. 4 minarets frame the tomb. Sketch of the interior view of the vaulted dome over the tombs of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. The false sarcophagi of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan in the main chamber. The actual tombs of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan in the lower level. Notice that Mumtaz's grave does not have a lower slab like that of Shah Jahan. Main marble dome, smaller domes and decorative spires that extend from the edges of the base walls. Arabic calligraphy at the tomb entrance. A window view of Taj Mahal from Agra Fort. The most spectacular feature is the marble dome that surmounts the tomb. The dome is nearly 35 meters high, which is close in measurement to the length of the base, and accentuated by the cylindrical drum it sits on, which is approximately 7 meters high. Because of its shape, the dome is often called an onion dome or umrid. The top is decorated with a lotus design which also serves to accentuate its height. The shape of the dome is emphasized by 4 smaller dome chatras placed at its corners, which replicate the onion shape of the main dome. The dome is slightly asymmetrical. Their columned bases open through the roof of the tomb and provide light to the interior. Tall decorative spires extend from edges of base walls and provide visual emphasis to the height of the dome. The lotus motif is repeated on both the chatras and guldistas. The dome and chatras are topped by a gilded finial which mixes traditional Persian and Hindustani decorative elements. The main finial was originally made of gold, but was replaced by a copy made of gilded bronze in the early 19th century. This feature provides a clear example of integration of traditional Persian and Hindu decorative elements. The finial is topped by a moon, a typical Islamic motif whose horns point heavenward. The minarets, which are each more than 40 meters tall, display the designer's penchant for symmetry. They were designed as working minarets, a traditional element of mosques used by the muezzin to call the Islamic faithful to prayer. Each minaret is effectively divided into 3 equal parts by 2 working balconies that ring the tower. At the top of the tower is a final balcony surmounted by a chhatri that mirrors the design of those on the tomb. The chatras all share the same decorative elements of a lotus design topped by a gilded finial. The minarets were constructed slightly outside of the plinth so that in the event of collapse, a typical occurrence with many tall constructions of the period, the material from the towers would tend to fall away from the tomb. The exterior decorations of the Taj Mahal are among the finest in Mughal architecture. As the surface area changes, the decorations are refined proportionally. The decorative elements were created by applying paint, stucco, stone inlays, or carvings. In line with the Islamic prohibition against the use of anthropomorphic forms, the decorative elements can be grouped into either calligraphy, abstract forms, or vegetative motifs. Throughout the complex are passages from the Curzon that comprise some of the decorative elements. Recent scholarship suggests that Aminat Khan chose the passages. Abstract forms are used throughout, especially in the plinth, minarets, gateway, mosque, yawband, to a lesser extent on the surfaces of the tomb. The domes and vaults of the sandstone buildings are worked with tracery of incised painting to create elaborate geometric forms. Herringbone inlays define the space between many of the adjoining elements. White inlays are used in sandstone buildings and dark or black inlays on the white marbles. Mortared areas of the marble buildings have been stained or painted in a contrasting color, which creates a complex array of geometric patterns. Floors and walkways use contrasting tiles or blocks in tessellation patterns. On the lower walls of the tomb are white marble dados sculpted with realistic bas-relief depictions of flowers and vines. The marble has been polished to emphasize the exquisite detailing of the carvings. The dado frames and archway spandrels have been decorated with pietra dura, inlays of highly stylized, almost geometric vines, flowers, and fruits. The inlay stones are of yellow marble, jasper, and jade, polished and leveled to the surface of the walls. Taj Mahal exterior with a minaret. Detail of plant motifs on Taj Mahal wall. Base dome and minaret. Finial tamga of the Mughal Empire. Plant motifs. Reflective tiles. Marble jali lattice.